Shwmae, croeso nôl I Onshape. Hi, welcome back to Onshape. I'm going to give you a very quick tutorial and a guided tour of what's available within Onshape. Just the very basic features to get you going and to start you off using this 3D CAD package. So, when you log into Onshape, you will see a screen similar to this, and we start off any modeling or any drawings at the create button at the top left hand side, and if you drop down, click on create document. Now for this tutorial I'm just going to make a very quick keyring. It's just a little skill builder to get you going. Okay, so I'm going to call it keyring. And there we are, it'll load up the Onshape screen. Now this screen works, Onshape works in any browser, so I'm actually using Chrome as a browser, but it works equally as well in Edge as well, okay, on any device. It even works on your phone or tablet. It's device independent. That's what makes Onshape so useful. So in the design screen on Onshape, it gives us 3 work planes, okay, front, top, right. It doesn't really matter which one you pick to start off with, and you can imagine these to be something like a sheet of paper which we start sketching on. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to start sketching by clicking on the sketch tool, and I'm going to select any of these planes, and it doesn't really matter which plane I pick. I'm going to pick right, and you can see there's a rectangular sketch plane that we can imagine to be like a piece of paper. Now that's in isometric view, it's angled, but if we go to the top right hand corner, there's a cube there, and this cube allows us to turn the views whichever way we want. So I'm going to click on right, and that'll turn the imaginary sheet of paper front towards us. Okay, so at the top here we have toolbar, and I'm going to pick just simply the corner rectangle tool to sketch a rectangle. So click and drag and click again. So I mentioned at the start I'm making a keyring just as a very simple skill builder. I mean, Onshape can be used to draw and design pretty much anything, but seeing as this is your first time using it, I thought just keep it simple. So the rectangle, now we need to know exactly what size this is. Notice the rectangle is blue at the moment, okay, and these dimensions are just what I dragged to there, but I need to give it specific dimensions. So I'm going to pick the dimension tool, click on this edge, drag it up, click, and I'm going to give that a dimension of yes, 50 millimeters. If you find that these are showing in inches, I've got another little video, just a 1 minute long video on YouTube showing you how to change the dimensions. And once you've changed it once, it'll always work in millimeters then. So I've given that dimension, this dimension here, just click at the edge, drag out, and I'm going to give that a dimension of 30 millimeters. Anything we do here, we can go back and change. Okay, so don't worry if you get the dimensions wrong, we can always go back. So now that I've given this 2 dimensions and I started from my origin, the corner there, the center dot, that's turned black because it's fully constrained. We know exactly what size that is. So once it turns black, click the big green tick here, and that changes the toolbar and we're back into our modeling area now. So if I click my right mouse button, I can turn this whichever way I want. Okay, so I'm moving that sheet of paper in 3D space. I'm going to extrude. Now extrude means taking a shape and pulling it and making a 2D shape into a 3D object. So extrude. I'm going to click on the shape I've just drawn, the rectangle, and that extrudes it and gives us a preview extruding 25 millimeters. I'm going to change that. I'm going to make it 5 millimeters. Remember, it's going to be a keyring, so it's quite small. Click here and the preview will change to being the size, and I'm happy with that, so I'm going to press the big green tick. So that's very simply a cuboid. Okay, and that's taken us 5 minutes. Once you know what you're doing, that'll take 30 seconds to do. These work planes I'm going to get rid of because they just make things a little bit more confusing now, so I'm going to hide them. Over on the left hand side we can see here the work planes, and there's a little eyeball type icon there. If I click on that, that hides each of these work planes and the origin as well, the little dot that we started off at the center. I'm going to hide that. If we need them, we could come back and switch them back on. Next stage, my rectangle. So if I use my wheel, mouse wheel, I can zoom in, turn around. Now then, my rectangle, I'm going to round the corners off, make it a little rounded corner, and I'm going to use this tool here, fillet. Click on the fillet tool. Then I'm going to click on these edges. Use my right mouse button to swivel a bit. Like that. So I've picked all 4 corners and the preview has rounded my corners off. I can change the size of that fillet, the radius. It's currently 5 as a default. If I make that 10 and click here, the preview then changes that to a larger fillet dimension. I'm going to click the big green tick because I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to add a feature on here. I'm going to add a circular hole so I can put my little keyring split ring through. So any features we add to a shape that we've already got, we go back to sketch. I'm going to click my sketch button and I'm going to draw another sketch on this top face here. So I'm going to click on this face, and you can see now that all my sketch tools have appeared again. So I'm going to click the center point circle. Now I'm going to hover over this line here to the center, and can you see that that little box shows up? And that means that it's snapping to the center of that line, so it knows that I want to draw something either at that or close to that center line. I'm going to drag out, and the dotted line means that the center of my hole that I'm drawing aligns with the center of the part there. It's still blue, so I need to give it a dimension. Click and drag, and I'm going to make that hole 5 millimeters in diameter, and I'm going to give it a dimension from the edge to the center. I'm going to make that 5 as well. And can you see now that that's turned black? So that means it's fully constrained. It can't move from there because we know we came from the center here and we inferred a center dimension. We've got a 5 mil diameter for the hole and 5 millimeters from the edge. Big green tick because I'm happy with that. Extrude, so exactly the same process again. I'm going to pick the circle that I've just drawn. Now this adds material, and we can see here that add is selected, okay, is highlighted. So rather than add, I want to remove, take away material, so I click on remove. And that takes it out all the way. Now it's a set dimension of 25 millimeters, which is fine, because it goes all the way through and takes it away. I could change that to here, rather than blind, through all, and then it just extrudes through the whole material thickness. Big green tick, thank you very much. Just to add another feature to this, I'm going to sketch again, click on that face, And now, rather than a circle, I'm going to drop down and pick an ellipse. On the ellipse, I'm going to hover over the center here, drag out, and we can see the dotted line there. And I'm going to just click and drag my ellipse to about there and about there. I'm just making this up as I go along now, so the design isn't that important as long as you learn the skills as we go along. I'm going to give that a dimension because it's all in blue. Click, drag up, and 38 kind of looks okay. So I'm going to make that 38. I'm going to click and drag this way. 24. I'm going to make that 25 because I like nice round numbers. And that's still blue, so I'm going to dimension it from this edge. It's always good practice to dimension these parts so they turn black, so they're fully constrained. 22 looks about right for there. Okay, so it's always good practice to keep on dimensioning until they turn black, so they're fully constrained. Big green tick, because I'm happy with that. Extrude again. Pick that face, and I'm going to extrude this another 5mm. Big green tick, accept. Fabulous. So that's becoming a keyring. It could be anything. Okay, it's going to be a keyring in this case. And I could take this keyring to my 3D printer in school, and I could print out this. Okay, a number of our students have used this kind of thing, especially in textiles. Students have used them to create accessories for clothing, zip pulls, flexible 3D printed materials like you'd have to show branding on a jacket, anything like that. Okay, so we can do loads with these. We can take these and 3D print directly using digital manufacturing. We can do lots of different things. One other thing I'm going to add, I'm going to sketch again on this face. I'm going to just go back to my cuboid and line it up so I'm looking straight on. I'm going to use the text button, and I'm going to draw a box where I want the text to be. I'm going to type in Celt, because that's the name of my dog, and let's see, that should do it. Big green tick. So we can change here, we can change the font, we can change alignment, anything we want there. So, Celt, that's too big, so let's see if we can shrink that down a bit. That's not working. Let's put a dimension on there. Dimension from here to here. And I'm going to make that dimension smaller. So I'm going to make that 35. There we are. And that shrunk that right down. Excellent. Oh, selecting too many things. There we are, fantastic. So Celt sits there, big green tick, and I'm going to extrude the text. I'm going to pick, let's zoom in now, then that's extruded that, so I picked extrude, picked the text, and it's extruded at 25mm, which is way too long. I'm going to make that 1mm. So we have raised lettering as well, like you'd have on the branding, maybe on a super dry jacket or something like that, with the flexible rubber branding. But we can do exactly the same here, and then we can take this and 3D print in our flexible materials. There we are. So we have raised lettering as well. Let's just finish that off with a chamfer. And I'm going to add a chamfer to this top edge and this bottom edge there. Now the chamfer shows in red because the chamfer by default is 5mm and it's going to be too big to go around the lettering, so I'm going to change that to 0.5. Click off. There we are. And now it's changed to orange, so it says it can accept that. And there we are. Just to finish it off, I might add a little fillet to this edge. Like that. And again, I'm going to change that to 2mm. And there we are. A quick little keyring, and that's just a guided tour really of Onshape, so you can have an idea of what can be produced. Okay, thank you very much. Have a little play. Iawn, chwaraewch, have a little play. Chwaraewch gyda hwn I chi ddysgu rhai o'r sgiliau newydd. Okay, have a little play so you can learn some new skills in Onshape. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr.